Hello, Flosstube. It is Frosty Egg Stitch Dawn, and I'm back for my Flosstube number 10. As you can see, I have one of my favourite mugs. I have two of these. They're sort of matching but different. The white is black and the black is white in the other one. I'll start with some Stitchy kindness that I got. It was really nice. Scottish Stitcher on Instagram. She contacted me, I think after my birthday video that I took, and said she would like to gift me something, and it came. I think it came just after my last video, the day after or something, and it was really nice. It was just because it didn't come immediately, so I sort of only had it at the back of my mind, and then suddenly it came, and it was really, she really did a nice job. The card already, I mean, happy mail, couldn't be better, mailbox. She wrapped it really nicely, everything was wrapped, so it's for you. This is a needle minder, don't know if you can see it. It's really nice. I'm going to enjoy that. I'm a bit like Steph and Pam. If I get something, I don't use it until I've shown it on Flosstube. And she gave me some fil de broderie atelier, and they're Pacific. It's a sort of bluish greyish tone. Some verde gris, which should be green, and well, you can't really see it. Just know that they're really, really beautiful and joli bois. They're cotton, I think they're cotton, yes, and they're hand dyed. This has got lovely sort of lilac-y colour at the bottom, and I'll have to find something to use these on, because they're special. And how much she also got me, and it's so kind. I didn't expect that much, but she got me £3. So I have Alice, I have the White Rabbit, and I have the Mad Hatter. And because I've seen so many people actually stitching this, and I liked Itty Bitty Stitchy's way of stitching it. She's doing it one after the next on the same piece of fabric, and I think she's using dark fabric. She's going along. I think that's the way I like it best, because you could stitch each one by itself, but then you would have to finish each one, and I think they belong together, especially as they're shown at the bottom. You can see they're shown in one row, and I think that makes more sense to me. And then you can just display them. I don't know if I just go one row, or if I might get the other ones and then put those underneath or something like that. I haven't decided yet, but it was so kind. Thank you so much. Like I said, it's Scottish Stitcher, Scottish_Stitcher on Instagram. Follow her. She's really nice. She's got lots of cross stitch on there to view. So she hasn't got Flosstube as far as I know, but do follow her. She's nice. She's very kind and very nice. Yeah, I watched one of, I think it's about 3 or 4 videos ago, Jessie Marie, and she said that she had to switch her laptops. She used to take everything across into the living room or dining room and filmed on her small iMac, and then had to now switch to her husband's laptop for filming. That's why she's now in a different place. I only just watched that. I've watched the newer ones, but I had to go back and watch that one. And I just realised that if you have a laptop, especially if you have a small one, you don't really realise, and you just pick up your MacBook or your laptop and then you just put all your stitching stuff on top and you carry it from room to room. That's what I do as well. Now just think about having your stitching with a needle minder on it, and some of these needle minders are really strong. So I might have a needle minder on this project, I have another one on top with another needle minder, and some people have more needle minders on one project than just one. Now if you put that on top or underneath a MacBook or a laptop, please be careful, because magnets can actually erase everything that's on your hard drive. It can damage the inside of your computer, damage it in a way that it's non-recoverable. So if you have anything, if you outsource your data onto a hard drive, an external hard drive, do not put any magnets, say needle minders, near that, because you'll wipe it. I've actually been very careful now also with my smartphone, because I think my smartphone has suffered from needle minder abuse. Don't know if that's a word, but I have had magnets near my phone because I use this for everything. I watch Flosstube on this, so I put it in a little holder and I watch Flosstube while I stitch. Now of course I'm going to put my needle minder either on my fabric or on a pattern, and that will then sort of go next to my phone, and that already can actually damage the hardware and wipe software off my phone, off your laptop, off your computer, off external hard drives, anything. Now Jessie Marie did lots of, she showed her pattern, and she's got the needle minders on her pattern, which she then showed up to the camera. Now that won't hurt your camera, because your camera hasn't got storage on it. If you have just a webcam on an internal webcam on your laptop, it won't damage that, because that it doesn't save data on it. But that's what she did, and that what then set off my memory going, because I know about this stuff. I used to work with this and I know physics. So just be a bit careful with your needle minders, especially the very strong ones. Don't stack needle minders on top of your computer. Just a little small tip. Yeah, I wanted to show you, it's very bright, I know you can't really see it because it doesn't show up very well on camera, but I wanted to show that it's got a specially built-in window on top there, that was specially made for me. It looks like this. This is called a lighthouse, as in lighthouse. They're made by a Russian, I think she's Russian or Ukrainian woman. I've been following her for some time on Instagram, and I saw these houses. She's got houses, she's got windmills, lighthouses as well. She makes these herself completely from scrap. She does everything herself, builds them, and they're not that expensive. I think this size is meant as a night light that you have maybe in your kid's bedroom or something, but they're really beautiful. And I got myself this as a birthday present, so that's why I wanted to show you, because it came at the same time as my Stitchy Kindness came. So I followed her on Instagram for some time. I'll leave it here. And then I wanted to buy one, but the really nice ones are more expensive. And then I saw this and I just fell in love and I had to have it. Now, she sent it to me and she included a card. She does film, she put, it doesn't really show up. This is the room where she puts her lighthouses there, and you then can see it. And she usually has a cat there as well. And she does little clips where you can see the lighthouses with the light on at dark or light. And yeah, so this is like her card, her calling card. And I think that's quite nice. And just to show you, this is Lighthouse. And if you want to follow her on Instagram, let's see if this will focus. It's this bit that you need here there. It says Alice's_mirror, and I'll put that in the box below if you want to follow her and just see what she's got. But you have to order it on her website, but you can contact her on Instagram and she'll give you the URL where you need to go and order it. So yeah, that was my birthday present to myself, non-Stitchy birthday present. Yeah, so I'll mention something else as well quickly. I showed this on Instagram. Now I've read the Stieg Larsson Millennium Trilogy, sorry, English. And I know that he had plans for the books with Lisbeth and forgot his name, Michael Blomqvist. Yeah, and he had plans for I think 8 or 10 books of the series, but unfortunately he died. And then I was searching something on Amazon and I saw that it says The Girl Who Takes an Eye for an Eye, continuing Stieg Larsson's Millennium series. And I thought, like, what? Now it's this David Lagerkrantz and he's carrying on the story. And this is the 4th book for the series, and he's already got next book as well. So I had to get them because apparently they're really good, and apparently he's really writing in the same way. Of course, I mean, if you remember, the Millennium, the books were this thick and really tiny writing. So it probably won't be quite the same, but I am interested to see what the books are like, because I did really enjoy that series, and him dying just cut it short, which was a real bummer. And then of course, books can't travel alone. Get as many books as you can. I had to get the new Dan Brown, just because. I really enjoyed the Da Vinci Code, and I really enjoyed reading it because it gave me more insight into the Bible. Now, I'm not religious. I know most of the stories out of the Bible. I know lots of the stories about religion and stuff, but I didn't know everything. At the time when I was reading it, I had a boyfriend who was Catholic, non-practicing Catholic, but I was sort of in bed reading and I was going like, in the Bible it says something about this and that, can you tell me? And he would go, yeah, in the Bible it says, and he would tell me the story of, because he knows all that. He had a memory of, yeah, really good. So he would explain what the Bible says, and then of course I could go back to my book and analyse it all for myself. And Dan Brown does leave quite a lot of questions open, which I think is quite good, because it's a book that you then go and you think about. Like, what do I believe? Do I believe in God? Do I not believe in God? Do I believe in something else? Does it make sense, what he's telling me? Or, like, in Angels and Demons, I mean, the helicopter at the end, going up into the sky and whatever. And dark matter being contained, it would not be possible. But all the other things, it just set off my mind, get it going, and I really enjoyed that. I enjoy it when you read a book and then you go away and you're sitting somewhere and you just think about it and it doesn't let you go. And even when you finish the book, you still sort of think about it. And it's about life, or about belief, or about anything. Like the dark matter in Angels and Demons, that's something, because it's in CERN, which is, well, you probably have heard of it, but it's in Switzerland. But not only in Switzerland, basically it's huge, so it goes underneath. And I would love to go there one day to just see it, because it's fascinating what they can do there. It doesn't have very much to do with real life, but it's got a lot to do with science, and it's very, very interesting. And then this dark matter came up in his book, and apparently they could create dark matter and keep it contained in a container. And my mind was going, because I know it's not possible, and even the explanation that he gave, even though it sounded really half believable, I know that it's not possible, but it was so well written that I really enjoyed it. But then of course the helicopter at the end, that was just, he probably ran out of ideas at the end, but doesn't matter. I enjoyed the books, all of them. I've read all of them. So I had to have the newest one, of course. Yep. Then I have a friend, and she's gone back to working. She's actually a nurse. They're now trying to see how much work she can do in a day, and just sort of starting training her again. So she started in a place where they do up second-hand clothes to sell again. They also stitch other stuff, and she said she was doing little bags with zippers on them and stuff, and I asked, could you maybe make me a project bag? Now she doesn't know what it is. I showed her pictures, I brought her one of mine. She made me a project bag, and the colour is, that's nearly true to colour. It's fantastic, and it sort of has shades in it, so when you move it, it changes a bit of colour, but it's sort of purple. And the sewing is perfect. It's really, if I wouldn't know that she didn't really sew that much before, she did sew, I think, but I mean the corners, the stitching, everything, it's just, it's lovely, and nice material inside, and it's got the matting in, so it's not just flimsy, and she did it to my specifications, so it's just such a lovely thing. Of course I pay her for it because she has to pay, but she has, because she did it, it doesn't cost as much as it would if I would buy something like this in the shop here. So I'm really happy with that, and she was so happy that she could do it at work, for work, and finish it in time to give it to me on Monday. So that was really nice. Thank you, Sandrine. I enjoy this. That's perfect. What's next? Yeah, I've completely lost my Stitchy Bug for 2 weeks. That's why this is not very Stitchy related, this whole sort of video. But I wanted to show my Stitchy kindness. That's why I'm doing the Flosstube today. I wanted to show my Stitchy kindness because it was 2 weeks and I just couldn't wait any longer to show you that I got Alice to stitch, and a floss and a needle minder from a very kind stitcher. And yeah, the only stitching I've done is basically on this. Now you all know this because you've seen it. Michelle, I would say team no colour printer or no printing in colour. Definitely. I have a black and white printer, so. But I saw this, and it's a freebie that you can get on Instagram. And I started stitching this before, is it Phil from Weasley Studios? But like I said, I lost my Stitchy Bug. I've been stitching on it, and I know that Phil is going for none of the called for colours, but I like this because of the colours that I saw on it. And that's why I'm stitching code for colours. That's me. It doesn't matter. I understand people who switch colours. I had to do that with the tea and cake style, but I had to do it because I didn't have the colours that were called for. I like what It Is Kismet does. She planned out, I think it's a mirror that she's doing. I can't remember if it's a mirror or another but where she changed just the whole colour scheme, and she showed how she did it. It was in one of her floss tubes, and I think that makes sense. If you have something and you have a pattern and you've got it for a longer period of time, and you've maybe stitched, like I've stitched Poppy in red, so I want to stitch red as well, the Mirabilia red, but I wouldn't go from Poppy to red because it would be just too much red. So I might switch and do red in blue, as somebody else has done. I've seen that on Facebook. Or in green. I can understand that. It makes sense to me. But when I buy a pattern, like when I saw this, I fell in love with it the way it is. I like the colours, I like the pattern, and that's why I tried to get the fabric that is sort of the colour that they have, and I chose the colours that they chose, because that's what drew me to this pattern. Now I know that others can go and see a pattern and say, oh, I see all these colours but I want to do it in one colour. And others see something in one colour and say, I'll go and do a variegation or whatever. And that's up to everybody. I think that's what we bring to stitching. And that's fine. And everybody's allowed to do what they like. And Phil did it in, I think he took red fabric and changed the colours. And it looks good. I don't say it doesn't look good. And I don't say he's not allowed to do that, because he definitely does. It's his stitching. He's allowed to do whatever he likes, and if he likes that, it's fine by me. I liked it. It looks good. But I chose this because I liked it the way it was. And that's just something I want to put out there, because I don't think that I will change colours on patterns. But I don't think I'll go and change all the colours and all the patterns just for the sake of it. I think that's not what I would like to do. I don't know. Yeah, in my last video I showed you that I got the patterns for, what is it, Country Cottage Needleworks Santa's Village. I finally got the patterns, so many months late. I got a pink fabric that doesn't work for me, and none of the floss. So I contacted them and they said, yeah, okay, we'll get the floss. Now, I've already paid a horrendous price just for the patterns and the floss, the fabric. And now they want to, now they get all the floss together, and they contacted me and said, we've got the floss, we'll send you the invoice in the morning. Well, I don't know how much it's going to be, but I don't know if I want to actually get the floss from them as well, because I don't know how much it's going to be. I just can't afford it anymore. It seems too expensive for what I was going for. It was just this offer that you can get the whole thing together with this Facebook group, and somebody on that Facebook group said that this person does the whole deal. You can get everything, the buttons, the patterns, the fabric, the floss, everything in one batch, without having to go and search for everything yourself. And I thought it was a good deal. That was while I was still buying kits or not kitting up my own projects. So I thought, okay, I'll do that, it's easy. And for the price that I paid, I would have thought that everything was included. Apparently it's not. Now, she contacted me, said she's got the floss, she sent me the invoice in the morning, and that was about a week ago. I still haven't got the invoice, so the floss is not on its way. And I'm losing patience and interest, and I was really looking forward to stitching that. I wanted to stitch Santa's Village, and yeah, taking the fun out of it. I've lost interest. I don't know if I want to stitch it. It'll probably go into a drawer, a box, and I might pick it up sometime. And I think that's just not the way it should go, because I've got floss coming now for one or two projects of mine, but basically for my friend. And it's fast. 1, 2, 3 stitches fast. And yeah, not happy about that. So I won't be stitching Christmas, which I can't understand. I've always had a Christmas project on the go. Always. I need Christmas. Anyway, Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming. Happy place. Christmas is coming. Priscilla and Chelsea. Christmas is coming. I've seen it. I love your posts. Please keep them going. I need to see it. I need to see it. Give it to me, please. Yep. So I just watched Sarah Stitching Mummy's Flosstube this week. She's finally finished Royal Holiday. It's beautiful. Go and check it out. And she said she's now going to start folding leaves, which is something that I started quite a long time ago. But she said she wants to actually do some sort of autumn project while it still is autumn and not winter. And this is what she was talking about. Now, she showed the colour copy. She's got a colour printer, I haven't. And yes, I am using the Cold for threads. And on screen it does actually look pretty much as it does on her printout. But it's not, it's a bit different. When I look at it, it's not the same as it is on the colour. Even though it's the DMC colours that are called for. Yeah, on screen it looks pretty true to colour, but in real life it's a bit different. But it's really nice, and it's a nice pattern. It was a freebie, and I think she said that it's not online anymore, which is a shame because it's really nice. So, like I said, I've lost my Stitchy Bug, but as this is variegated floss, so you can just stitch the pattern without swapping your floss. You just go along, you stitch the outline of one thing, then you switch to the next floss. I think I'll go back to that in the evenings, and maybe my Stitchy Bug will come back. I really hope so, because it's not gone because of a pattern or anything Stitchy related. It's gone because of my work situation, my situation with my neighbours, and yeah, like today I came home after work. I finished work at 12:15. I was home at about 1:45, and I didn't even eat lunch. I didn't eat anything. I just thought I'd lie down for a bit before I do my YouTube, and I fell asleep at 1 o'clock and woke up at 5. I just don't want to deal with anything. Life's not very interesting, and I've closed off my door, my front door going into the stairway to the other people. It's glass. You can't really see in, but you can see the light is on. So now I've completely covered it, so when they come down they don't see if the light is on or not. I've also taken the doorbell that's next to my door. I've taken that off, unhooked it. So you have to actually go outside, ring the doorbell outside. That one's still on because when the postman comes, I want to know if I have Happy Mail or not. So that one has to work. So that one works. Now, one of my neighbours said, sorry. She came and she said that she came knocking on my door a few times last week. That was before I had all this black thing up. And I said, well, then I didn't hear it, because if I have the door closed I don't hear knocking. I said, you have to ring. And she said, yeah, but I did ring as well and you didn't open. And I said, well, then I probably wasn't home. And she said, that's not true. I heard you speaking afterwards. Excuse me, please, because I sometimes fall asleep when I listen to a podcast, or, don't tell anyone, sometimes when I watch Flosstube I fall asleep. And that's women speaking, and some of them have voices like me. So probably I was watching a Flosstube, fell asleep. I won't hear them knocking, and she'll hear me talking, but it's not me. Now, I'm not allowed to have the light on, they'll see I'm home. I'm not allowed to speak, otherwise they know I'm home. This is my flat, this is my safe place, and they're taking it away from me, and it's really, really upsetting. So that's why my Stitchy Bug is gone. I come home, I sleep, I sometimes just sit in front of the TV and just sit there. I have no motivation to do anything. and yeah, now I just hope that Stitching Mummy is going to do folding leaves at the end of this week. I know it's Thanksgiving in the US, but that doesn't matter. I might start stitching on this and hopefully get my stitching bug back, because I have lovely projects that I have started and I want to finish, and I have lovely projects that are waiting to be started. So who knows? We'll see. And I think that's it from me for today. Yeah, those are all my notes. Yeah, so let's see, 30 minutes? Yeah. Don't know what to say. Happy stitching. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the US. Happy rest of the week to everybody else. And I probably will see you in 2 weeks. So have a nice time and happy stitching. Bye.